So the big thing that everyone was talking about, and something I was actually thinking about WrestleMania 42 Night 1, was the pacing. People were saying it was too short. I think that it was properly paced. Yes, one of the matches did feel a little bit shorter than maybe it should have been, but overall, I thought this was actually perfect pacing and the exact kind of thing you need to do for a WrestleMania that's going to have 7 matches on one night. But I guess taking inspiration from that, maybe I'll make this a fast-paced review. Welcome to Silo Voice Wrestling on YouTube and the Silo Voice Wrestling podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Jason C. McLean, and this is my review of WrestleMania 42, Night 1, Saturday. Oh, yeah, John Cena open it up. Yeah, nice little rah-rah kind of thing. Wasn't expecting much more than that. Then we had our first match was the 6-man tag team match. As expected, Usos is the first thing we heard. Jimmy and Jey Uso, LA Knight, yeah, versus The Vision, Austin Theory, and Logan Paul with IShowSpeed. And I mean, yeah, this was not like the opener last year. That was like a really anticipated match, really intense. This was just a fun little way to open the show, some back and forth. Eventually IShowSpeed messed up, but eventually LA Knight got the pin on Austin Theory because of Speed screwing up. But the real fun thing that happened was after, when the Vision turned on IShowSpeed and the baby faces came in, got them down. They had Logan Paul on the announce table, and IShowSpeed, he jumps off the turnbuckle, top turnbuckle, splash on the announce table. Took him a while to get there. And one thing I find interesting, something I noticed, is they obviously had the close-up shot of him going, but for the live, and they definitely use that for replays, and maybe they're using that for the on-demand version, but live, they were taking that shot, but they cut to a wide shot, probably hoping that he made it, but not sure, 100% sure that he made it. They didn't want to see something nasty on the close-up. So, good job, IShowSpeed. Good job, everyone. It was a fun way to start the night. Again, I'd say it's overall, I mean, there was some good story going into this. Danhausen was involved. They didn't really talk about his involvement. So, for that, I give, the story, I give, an A. The in-ring work, it was fine. A, but overall, the feel of the match, I'd say I'd just give it a B+. Good match, fun match to start the show, but not as heated as an opener as Night 2, definitely, or as we had last year with Jey Uso versus Gunther. Again, it was Jey Uso on the winning side, but it meant a lot less. It was just a fun way to start the show. Then we had the Unsanctioned match, which was sponsored by Papa John's Pizza. But I remember the last Unsanctioned match that we saw was, that I saw at least in WWE, was Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens at Elimination Chamber in Toronto. And for that, they made it all really dark. This time they also had the referee in the dark outfit. And it was the referee that Drew McIntyre didn't like. But of course, in the bright daylight second match, they couldn't really give that unsanctioned feel. It just felt like a Street Fighter, a no DQ match. But it was good. They had the toolbox thing in, showing Drew McIntyre's really involved with toolboxes in matches. That seems to be a staple since he brought it back. It was hardcore. Jacob Fatu won, which you'd expect. He was it makes sense. Drew's going off to do Highlander. I liked Jacob's. Jacob's entrance was nothing to write. It was a good entrance. Drew's entrance was good as well too. It was a fun second match, kind of and decent story building up. I'd say it's also a B+. This is and it was the right time. You didn't want to go too long with that because it had heat, but it didn't have the same kind of heat as Drew and Punk Hell in the Cell. I was thinking that they would put a cage or something like that, seeing as they were building this on how Jacob Fatu was a ex-con, used to be in prison, the prison motif, but they didn't decide to do that. They did more with that on SmackDown with Jacob coming in the police car than they did for this match. But still, I enjoyed it. Really good work, but again, nothing really to write home about. A good second match for the show, B+. Okay, we had the Fatal 4-Way Women's Tag Team Championship match. Now, this is one I definitely got my prediction. I got my prediction wrong for the first match, right for the second match. But this one, I got it wrong, but I think everyone got it wrong because you couldn't actually predict somebody who wasn't supposed to be in the match winning. First, the outfits. Like, I loved these Irresistible Forces, Lash Legend, Nia Jax, their homage to Demolition with the white masks, and that was just great. Charlotte and Alexa, those like the butterfly theme, like wow, that's style, man. And Bayley and Lyra look good too. And okay, now the big surprise. I was watching this with my brother and some friends, and we were talking about how, like, if the Kabuki Warriors showed up in this, that was the way to not have Io Sky on night two. But that was mainly because the Bellas were injured. But the Bellas came out, and then, oh no, Nikki Bella's got the crutch. Okay, she's going to ask someone to step in, and it was Paige. Paige, former Paige in WWE, former Saraya, and now she's back, and she's like, yeah, I guess a veteran. She's from sort of after the Bellas era, and I think she'd be more fighting the Bellas. And match was good. It was quick and short. I mean, obviously, I was originally hoping this was going to be like the women's like a main event match with Rhea and Io in it. And that probably would have maybe been like a stipulation match, like a ladder match or a TLC match. But no, for what they had, they did really well. And obviously the ones everyone want. Well, I think the main people were behind Charlotte and Alexa. They didn't win, but the Irresistible Forces didn't retain, which I thought was going to happen. We had Nikki Bella interfering with the crutch. I mean, I guess it's kind of cheating, but it's not because there's no DQs in a fatal 4-way match. And that gave eventually Paige got the hot tag, and eventually Paige ended up winning 1, 2, 3. You know what? For that surprise ending, for the crowd reaction to that, like, she got a major pop coming back in. That really ups this match. I mean, they've been building the women's tag team division all year. But, I mean, it sort of slumped off a bit, and the in-ring work was all fine, was all great. And just for that ending, I'm going to give this match, I'm going to give it an A. I mean, it would have been A+ maybe if it had been more gimmicky, but I'm going to say they did a perfectly fine job. They did an A. It's definitely an A, and I did really enjoy this match. For the Women's Intercontinental Championship, the champion AJ Lee defended against challenger and former champion Becky Lynch. Now, AJ Lee's, she entered second as the champion, but she had all these like little girls doing the skip thing. It would be funny if one of them was like Becky's daughter. No, that would have been hilarious, but no, they didn't. But of course, Becky Lynch, she had the Wonder Years play her in quotes. I mean, they were clearly, the quotes in the camera. They were clearly lip syncing. And they weren't actually playing. And Living Color played live last year. They didn't play live. Honestly, I'm not going to knock off points for the match because they weren't playing live. But there was a song they wrote for her. It was I was almost going to knock it off points, but no. It was the match itself. This was better of their two singles matches, and yeah. Back there, Jessica Carr was the referee. They told a really good story of the two of them, but also Jessica Carr. I hope that she referees all of Becky Lynch's matches. At some point, I think we're going to go Becky Lynch versus Jessica Carr. We had like AJ Lee trying to get a pin attempt at one point, which was, she's not going to win with a pin. She did get the Black Widow on her a few times, and Jessica Carr caught Becky removing the turnbuckle, but eventually Becky slyly removed the turnbuckle, sort of moved Jessica Carr out of the way. AJ Lee went into the turnbuckle, and through cheating, Becky Lynch won. And you know what? Maybe they are going to run it back at Backlash. I kind of want AJ Lee. I mean, it now makes sense Becky wins this match, especially if they run it back, because I kind of want this title to go to someone like a Roxanne Perez or someone like that, and become a mid-card title after it's been built up to this level, but I think involves AJ Lee winning it back. This was the better of their two matches. I'm waiting for the third. In-ring work was excellent. I mean, they're both pros. Storytelling was excellent. I'm going to give it an A+. I'm not going to take a mark off for the lip syncing and not playing live for the band, because why have the band there if they're not going to play live? They're just, I would bring it down to an A for that, but no, I'm going to keep it at an A+. And a lot of that is due to telling such a solid story in the shorter time they were allotted. And we had Seth Rollins, the returning Seth Rollins, against the career killer, the ring general, Gunther. Now, this match was about like 15 minutes. It actually got more time than a lot of the other matches. And it made sense because this was the match that came out of nowhere, at least for those of us watching, but we didn't know we needed. And yeah, this was really, really good, really solid match. I mean, excellent work on both sides, back and forth. There was like stomps, like false finishes. There was sleeper attempts. There was a pedigree, I think, a German suplex, the whole deal. Went outside of the ring. Now, it, of course, ended with Gunther knocked out, referee checking on Gunther. It made sense how they did this, but it was kind of predictable that Braun Breaker was going to come in and spear Rollins, and that's ultimately what led to Gunther getting the victory. So Gunther didn't even know he had help. He didn't know he cheated, because Gunther didn't cheat, but they got away with it. The plan was fine, and of course Gunther won. But now, yeah, it was a really excellent A+ work across the board. Really good. Really, I was definitely into this match. This was a really exciting match to watch. It was a little bit predictable. I'd give it an A+, but because, I mean, it was predictable, but in kind of a way it needed to be. So I'm gonna give it an A+ too, even though I'm not going to take off for the predictability. But it was definitely an excellent match to watch. Then for the Women's World Championship, the champion Stephanie Vaquer defending against challenger and Royal Rumble winner Liv Morgan. Now, this was actually my favorite match of the night, but I can't give it the A+. I'm actually, a little spoiler alert, I'm actually going to take a little bit off for one very specific reason. This was the match that I think could have been a little bit longer. Now, I loved Liv's entrance with her music video Trouble. And you know what? I'm not taking points off because she was lip syncing, because she's not a singer. She was doing a lot, and she's a wrestler, and she was about to wrestle a match, and she's the one singing, possibly auto-tuned. I don't know. Fun entrance. Stephanie Vaquer, they managed to make her a very entrance that works best in the dark look good. Stephanie did do the devil's kiss on Liv. Liv was going to do it on Stephanie, but that didn't end up happening. There was, a lot of back and forth. There was, of course, the run-in from the Roxanne Perez distracting, and Raquel Rodriguez knocking Stephanie off. But you know what? That's actually where I was like, okay, then that's obviously, she's obviously not going to win shortly after the cheating, because it happened too early in the match. It just felt like the pacing was off there. And yeah, that's why I'm taking the points off. But it was, and then of course, after the cheat, she didn't win directly from the cheating, but eventually Liv hit like Oblivion shortly after and won. And it was like, I felt that Liv, like this whole buildup, it felt like Stephanie was the one challenging, but now the one chasing, even though she was the champion. But now Liv has the title, and I think Liv is going to be great with the title as the champion on Raw. Maybe there's going to be some tension with the Judgment Day. Maybe she'll end up, one of them will turn babyface. But Liv is just so over, so popular. It's best reactions, like her stunned look when she doesn't get a pin after some interference, like just excellent work, like A+ work across the board. Good storytelling. But again, the fact that it could have just been a little longer, I will have to bring it down to an A. But even though I can't give it my highest grade of the night, this was definitely my favorite match to watch in the night. And then we had John Cena announcing the attendance and bringing out someone who would sort of should have changed my prediction for one of the matches on night 2 anyways. But Bianca Belair came out, and she's pregnant. Yay, congratulations to Bianca and Montez Ford. That was a really cool way to do it. Nice emotional way to do it. And I knew a hand injury wasn't keeping someone out for like over a year. Like that's now it actually it makes sense. She probably did have the hand injury, but then this whole thing happened. The pregnancy happened. She wanted to maybe see if she was actually pregnant, after a few months, and then she revealed it. Great way to reveal it. It feel good moment. Of course, it means we're not going to get Bianca and Jade at SummerSlam, which is what I was, which is a prediction for night 2, which I should have changed. But yeah, you can't have WrestleMania without EST, and Bianca's got a baby on the way, so congratulations. And then we had our main event of night 1, the undisputed WWE champion, the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes, defending against the Elimination Chamber winner Randy Orton, the Viper, with Pat McAfee in his corner. And unofficially, we had Jelly Roll in Cody Rhodes' corner. Now we had the intros, Randy with all the snake imagery, and came down, took a long time to come down to the ring. Cody Rhodes, of course, came up through the dust after some video, good babyface intro, over the top Cody intro, but you kind of expect that for WrestleMania. And what I really liked is they got Pat McAfee, at least for the time being, out of it right away before the match even started. He attacked Cody, but then Cody got him, and he got Jelly Roll to jump from one announce table to the other, break the announce. The announce table got repaired really quickly after the first match, and I guess it got repaired really quickly after this match. These announced, I remember what they're doing a thing with the announce tables were unbreakable and they only broke it at WrestleMania, but no, these announce tables break like any other table. But I'm really glad they got that out of the way. We had the match. The match was, of course, very good. It was very hard fought, very it got bloody on both parts. Randy was sort of selling a little bit of an injury a bit, so he didn't he maybe wasn't up to speed, but I mean he got there. They were both looking really tough. It was the kind of match that I think people expected from Cody versus Randy, but then of course there was a ref bump, and Cody actually took advantage of the low blow. Now when other baby faces do it, it's one thing, but when Cody does it that's it almost signified a little heel turn. I don't think it's a total heel turn, because I think he's just showing he's going to play Randy's game. But then guess who runs down Randy in an RKO, and he's about to win, but the referee runs down his Pat McAfee 1-2, only gets a 2 count. I love Michael Cole's line on commentary. I don't think this could possibly be legal. The manager, the corner man of somebody else puts on a referee shirt and comes out and counts the victory. But then, I'm really happy. Randy RKO'd Pat McAfee. And then Cody took advantage. He took advantage. Everyone cheered when Randy RKO'd Pat McAfee. Good, he's not part of the story. But then Cody took advantage and crossroads right away on Randy Orton, like he did after Randy took out Drew. So that was kind of like the heelish take advantage win, which Randy does, Cody does, and 1, 2, 3 with little Nate coming back to life at the exact right moment to count the victory. So one of the wrestling tropes, I just accept the referees come back. Charles Robinson is his name. The referees come back. They're out for as long as it takes, as long as the storyline requires. Just one of those things you have to accept. But then, and the crowd reaction when Cody winning was like, ooh. I mean, some people are probably happy because it means, according to what he said, Pat McAfee's not coming back, or maybe he'll come back as an announcer or something like that. But yeah, Cody, they ended the whole storyline of TKO versus WWE, the whole the Attitude Era is better. It seems like they ended that story. So I was really happy about that. But then we had the afterbirth with Randy Orton punt kicking Cody, and it looked like I think he hit him the wrong way, and he's real. You see Cody, one of his eyes was kind of shut backstage. They obviously showed that for effect, but it looks like he might have actually seriously injured Cody. We'll see where we go with that. Let's see if that was actually more of a work than we realize. What did I think of this match? I mean, I was prepared with McAfee's involvement. I was kind of like, because of the overall storyline leading up to it, I think took a real bad left turn. But they managed to salvage. They managed to get that out of the way at the beginning, the whole jelly roll, Pat McAfee thing. And they had, for the most part, a very good match. And the ending with McAfee coming in, was an excellent ending, a way to like deal with McAfee. But the thing is, the fact that McAfee was there in the first place and played a role, I think that involvement has to take. I think I'm going to have to give this one an A-, only because like they really did well with what they had to work with going in. But unfortunately, because of some of what they had to work with going in, it sort of took away from the match. We could have been a lot better. They could have still told the same story with, Randy doing the right thing or something and Cody taking advantage and winning, and that would have been clean cut, even the punt kick at the end. But yeah, you know what? This was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. So I got to say, yeah, the main event, night one, A-. So this is how I saw WrestleMania 42 night one. Overall, I mean, I really liked the pacing, but some of there were some only just decent matches at the beginning, and the main event could have been better, but there was some really good stuff. So overall, I'm going to have to give WrestleMania 42 night one an A-. Do you agree with me? Let me know in the comments. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications for all my wrestling hot takes, cold takes, simmering takes, wrestling opinion pieces, assorted thoughts on Raw and SmackDown, and WWE Premium Live Event, prediction, and of course, review videos. I will be back with my review of WrestleMania 42 Night 2. Until then, for Silo Voice Studios in Montreal, I'm Jason C. McLean.